Okay, so we'll call the committee of the whole meeting to order at 12:46 p.m. And start by acknowledging that we are privileged to meet on the unceded and ancestral territories of the Squamish and St'át'imc nations. With that, there is an agenda recommendation.
That the agenda of this meeting be approved.
Thank you, Cynthia. Is there a second for that?
Sure. Turpin.
Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, that's carried. We've got a couple of minute recommendations as well.
That the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held on November 13th, 2024 be adopted.
Thank you, Cynthia. Is there a second for that?
Second, sure. Turpin.
Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, then there's one more set.
The minutes of the finance committee meeting held on November 13th, 2024 be adopted.
Thank you, Cynthia. Second for that?
Sure.
Thank you, Melissa.
Turpin.
Oh, Melissa got you on that
Okay.
one. Any objections? Okay, seeing and hearing none, then that's carried. So that brings us to trustee items. And this is where we have expressions of interest for chairperson, vice chairperson, BCSTA provincial council rep, and the BCSTA provincial council representative alternate. So we'll start with any expressions of interest for a chairperson. Okay, well, I am interested in continuing in the role. And I'm not sure if there's anyone else. Okay, not hearing anything. Any expressions of interest for the vice chair?
I'm happy to stay on as vice chair.
Thank you, Cynthia. Any others? Okay, not hearing any. Then the BCSTA provincial council rep. And who is that currently?
Melissa.
Are there any expressions of interest for? the
I
provincial-
would love to continue if nobody else is interested. I think it's really fascinating work.
Thank you, Melissa. Anyone else? Okay, hearing none. The alternate for the provincial council rep. Who is that currently?
Yeah.
It's me.
Oh, is it you?
Yeah. It's me.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
I can stay on as alternate unless someone else wants to step in. I'm good. Melissa's very responsible. She's been to everything. It's easy. It's an easy assignment.
You haven't had to alternate?
It gets your brain going though. I love it.
Yeah,
It's really interesting work.
It's
It's
super-
so important and it's interesting.
It's super good. It really expands your perspective for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, so this was just an opportunity for those to express their interest. The actual elections will happen at the public board meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, we can move on. We don't have any presentations. Information items. So trustee calendar and upcoming events. Danielle, do you want to take this?
Yes, please. Okay, so December 16th next week, in the evening, we have a DPAC meeting that will be held on Zoom. And Trustee Bickford is the representative for that one. On December 18th, we had originally, that's next week, put aside that date for education session. And at the last board meeting, we had a discussion about holding the session either on the 18th or the 29th of January.
Okay.
And after that meeting, we put out a survey to everybody to see what their availability was. And the preference was to move that to January 29th in the afternoon. So we are going to be moving that session to January 29th in the afternoon. Is anybody not able to attend that day? It'll be January 29th in the afternoon. Okay, well, if anything changes, please let me know and we'll start organizing that.
And this will be in person?
Yeah, that'll be in person. So we're going to be walking through school budget book. So it's better if you're in person so that if you're needing help with like using the like spreadsheets, then we'll be there to help support with that.
Okay. So we'll get
Thank you
that
for
in our
organizing.
calendar.
That means a lot to me.
We can get that in the calendar relatively quickly? Or is it
Yes.
yours?
It's in the calendar now, but we'll update it to change it for that time.
Okay.
Send it out shortly. Okay. And for January, now we're into January already. We have agenda setting committee on January 7th. So that will be the board chair and vice chair reps attending that one. And then January 15th is a board meeting. So just as a reminder for the January board meeting, it's 1 week later than normal. It's 3 weeks into the month of January due to the winter break. So just wanted to remind everybody about that. And as I mentioned, January 29th, we're going to have a board education session on school budgets in the afternoon. And January 30th to 31st will be the BCPC AGM. So currently the rep for that is April, unless that changes with the chair's committee changes once the election for chair occurs. And February 4th, so I'm going through just January and February, we have agenda setting committee. February 14th is board meeting. And then just so everybody knows, February 14th is implementation day.
February 14th, a Wednesday?
No, it's a Friday. And so that's happening at 2 sites this year. We're having it one at Don Ross and one at Pemberton Secondary School. And this year is going to be an Indigenous focus.
What is this day? Sorry, I don't remember.
It's implementation day. So it's a day that's put on
It's like a
for,
Pro D day, but it's not.
yeah, for all staff.
Okay. And this is something that we go to as well?
Yeah, all trustees are invited.
And I'll jump in to say, as Danielle said, we're deferring to the nations in the north and the nations in the south for content. We've been given the gentle reminder from the ministry that this day is Indigenous focus. And last year, while we included Brad Baker as part of our presentation on identity and intersectionality, we needed to ensure that we were fulfilling our obligation to have an entire day focus. So that's why there's 2 sites to be on the land of the folks whose land we're on. So Pemberton Secondary for the north, and likely Don Ross again for the south. And as we learn more, we'll update folks. We have gosh, now I can't remember his name. Gitsan. Oh my goodness. A fantastic, well regarded speaker for the north who's doing the whole day with us. And we're still working with Squamish Nation around what they would like to present in the south. Thanks.
Hey, can we, I see it's not in the calendar. Can we get that in our calendar so if we can make it?
Wonder why it's not. It's in ours.
Yeah.
Not so helpful when it's not in yours.
It's not in mine.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you
Does
have it in?
any trustee have it? I'm just curious.
I have it.
Yeah, I know, Rebecca, I know you've had some issues with all your calendars, so
I don't have that.
good to know some people do.
Okay, well, we'll send a separate invite for that. And that's optional. Like you don't have to attend. It'd be great to have trustees attend. Sorry.
No, is it, I don't have it in mine either. No.
Yeah, we're going to
Okay.
resend.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to resend the invite. And we will be looking for hopefully the chair and board chair to be able to come and do a welcome. So probably one in the north and
One
one
goes
in the,
south and one goes north.
yeah. So we're hoping to have that.
Yep.
Okay, and if anyone's able to attend, just if you don't mind just sending me an email letting me know that you can attend. So we know that you'll be there, that'd be great.
You can mark me down. I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, and then February 19th is our yearly partner group meeting in Whistler. And so we're still figuring out some of the logistics with that, but keep that in mind. So that'll be the evening at Whistler Secondary School. Yeah. And
I'm not here.
you're not here February 19th?
No, I'll be in Calgary the 19th and 20th, 18, 19, 20.
Okay, and that's it. If you want, I can jump into the next items. It's up to you.
I don't see any hands up, so go for it.
Oh, I think
Sorry, I
Celeste
just had
actually does.
Quick question, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Celeste, I didn't.
No, it was a last minute hand. I was just wondering, I know we sort of go through just the coming months, which is great. But at some point, maybe in January, could we go through any dates that you know for the whole of 2025, just so we can lay out our calendars to the end of the year as best to the best of our ability, even if it's just dates that might be tentative so that we can schedule those and schedule things around them.
Yeah, sure. We can send something out.
Amazing.
Hopefully. Do you think we could do it before the break? Yeah, we'll try to send something out before the Christmas break.
Whatever you know now would be super helpful from
Yeah.
September to December.
For sure.
Especially the board meetings.
And I think, well, we talked about this last spring. We went through the whole schedule for this current year, school year. So we knew that January was going to be a later meeting. We knew the partner group meetings. We knew quite a few of these dates. And we just keep revisiting as we go along. And there are others that are getting added in, of course.
Totally. The communication has been really good. I think we just haven't talked about September 2025 onward yet.
No, we
Oh,
have not.
September, we haven't planned that far yet.
I think we generally do that in May or
Summer.
June.
Oh, yeah, September. I thought you was
Yeah.
talking about in January. too.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's me too. Okay, yeah, so we're not there yet. We haven't planned that far in advance yet, Celeste.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so next is school winter concerts. So there's an attachment there for you to see if if any of you are interested in attending, just please let us know so we can pass it along to the principal. I think a number of them. have-
I will be attending Blackwater.
Okay,
I will be at Signal Hill on the 17th.
And I will let you know. I'm at the gala tomorrow
Yeah.
for Howe Sound Secondary.
Oh. That looks really neat.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's an awesome event. I've been once and then I keep missing it. It is fantastic.
I'm excited.
The food that those chefs make in the culinary program, just a shout out to anybody listening to the House Sound Culinary Arts program. Fantastic.
Well, they, yeah, so last year it was on the board meeting date, so we weren't able to attend. So I mentioned to Fran, any influence on the date?
Nice.
I was happy to attend if it's not a board meeting date. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Awesome. Okay, great. I've also attached the committees that are on there for everybody to see. So after if there's any particular committee that you're interested in being on or you want to continue to be on after elections today, if you can just email the chair with that. I think that.
I will say I am on the PD committee and the last few meetings have been on board meeting days.
Okay.
So it's been unfortunate that I haven't been able to connect. And Paul as well.
Oh, Rebecca. Okay, good.
Did you have something, Nicole?
I've just been, okay, I'll just bring it up. I am currently the BCPC rep, and I know that there shouldn't be urgency around it, but I'm going to be in Palm Springs, and I'm just about to purchase my ticket to fly home because of the AGM. So I don't want, but I've just texted that, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be fine. I've texted Rebecca and let her know that it's a bit more of urgent because I won't fly home if I'm not the BCPC rep. That's the short and long of it.
Yeah, and April, you did an amazing job at the academy as the BCPC rep, and I would happily leave you on there if
Good, thank you.
and then if anyone else wants off of other committees or well, we should remove the Indigenous Ed because trustees are no longer representatives on that council.
I would just add there may be that may come about after terms of reference. So just be prepared for an invitation to be a non-voting member after their terms of reference are complete. So that may be by the February board meeting. So just as a heads
We
up.
can just leave it.
Well, I think I agree we take it off the agenda, but at such time as it's the invitation comes forward, then I would recommend we add it then.
Okay.
Hey, that's it for me.
Let me find my page again. We have board action items. And this is the non-voting student delegates at the BCSTA AGM report. What is required here, Danielle?
So we just emailed everybody this report last Friday, and BCSTA has asked all boards to discuss this topic before BCSTA AGM. So we're just asking everybody to take it back and be ready for discussion for the January board meeting to discuss this at the January board meeting for them. So that's an action item for next board meeting.
Okay.
If you haven't opened up the attachment, it's long. It's about 20 pages, so it's not a quick read.
Right.
Got some
But
good.
just to clarify, there is no action required in January. It's simply to have read the report and have a discussion as a board on where if there's consensus on the board or not, just because there'll be further discussion at AGM. It's a very comprehensive report. So I look forward to hearing what everybody thinks. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All righty. I don't see any questions. April, your camera isn't on, so I can't see if you have anything.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can fix that.
Okay.
There's small
Um,
chance I can't.
So next up, we have the statement of financial disclosure form. They're due on the 15th, but we can do them now. I think it's open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've already received a number of them, so thank you for those of you that have sent them to me. If not, this is your reminder to get that to me.
All righty.
May I ask, the expense claim form, was that received, or do you need the signed copy back as well?
Oh no, that's fine. I received it, and it'll be Lisa, I've received yours, and that we'll be processing it for this Friday's check run.
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to make sure it was all right.
Yeah.
Was using an old form, so.
Yeah.
Me too, Lisa. Like the other form, it won't load, or I can't do anything into it. So
yeah, I couldn't either. So so I was trusting you to fix what needed fixing, and I have the receipt also for the lunch if you require that. So.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't looked at it yet, but I'll let you know if there's anything missing. I think your mileage rate was high. We have to increase it to the current rate, but.
Yeah, because it's a 2022 rate. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
So for those of you, including me, who haven't completed that, please do so as soon as possible. And then complete the cyber security training.
Oops.
So I think I did a module. I have to complete the other two. So are we still waiting on others as well?
Yeah, yeah. So I think there's been a couple that I've fully completed. So thank you for doing that. And then for those of you that haven't, this is just your reminder. There was an email, if you don't recall, that went out on December 3rd. So if you can check back through your emails and try to have that finished. So yeah, as you all know, we've implemented cybersecurity training across the district. So this includes trustees as well. So we want to have that all completed, hopefully by the end of December.
Okay.
Yep.
Another item on my list. So thank you. So that I don't see any hands. So that moves us to trustee compensation and discussion items. Danielle.
Mhm. Okay, thanks. So I just wanted, before we can get into some discussion here, just wanted to let you know, normally any changes to trustee compensation and remuneration takes place January 1st, 2024. Usually takes effect then. And the first paycheck that would affect would be the end of January. So if we can make a decision today, that would be great. If not, worst case scenario, we can push it to the January board meeting just because I would still have time to implement it for the January paycheck. And
You mean 2025?
2025.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said 2024. And I'm
Sorry,
okay,
I was
what
thinking, is it?
what am I missing?
Sorry, guys. 2025.
Okay.
So basically I'm looking for a decision on three things. I put together some information for all of you. One is how much do we pay trustees for a base pay? Secondly, how much we pay for the supplemental cost for the chair position? And thirdly, how much do we pay for supplemental costs for vice chair position? So I'd put together some different options for you. And we had a discussion about this, and we're not going to say what our recommendation is. So we're going to leave that up to you to decide. But I'm happy to answer any questions about any of the options that we put forward. And yeah.
So what were your three?
Sorry?
You said you had three questions.
One was how much to pay for trustees. Second, how much you pay for chair.
Okay.
And the third is vice chair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So sorry. I was.
Good catch, April. Celeste, I see your hands up.
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge, Danielle, that this report was put together really well. I feel like we have all of the information that we need to discuss this in an
Right.
objective way. And I just wanted to acknowledge that I'm so thankful that you did that for us. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Celeste. So I'm going to open it up for discussion. Anyone has anything? I do have a question on the estimated mileage. How does
Okay, so what we did is we put together an estimate for how much it would cost if everybody drove to every single board meeting for the next year. So that's just an estimate based on our current mileage rate is 66 cents. So it's totally an estimate, and this is obviously it's on the high side because not everybody attends in person all the time. But that is like the max amount it would be 4,908.
and that's just to the one board meeting a month?
Yeah.
So
Well, the
that
other
would
thing,
so
sorry,
our base is 14,571, right? That's what you're saying for the year. So we all receive 1,214.25 a month, and then currently that we have mileage added on to that. Correct?
are you talking for option number 2?
Yeah,
Are you-
Because what I'm trying to figure out is currently we have mileage built into our monthly pay, and but not everyone's driving. So I think it would be good to have actual costs on that.
Well, actual costs, we're not reimbursing for mileage, so we actually don't have. Like we're not paying for you to drive to board meetings right now.
Well, we are, it's built into our pay.
Yeah, but it's right there. If you look at the top of under option 1, it shows you how much extra it is. Like where it says differential between communities, you can see what the extra is for that.
Rebecca, may I?
Yep.
I think what she's saying, Danielle, is that if we were to change it, we would be looking at the actual costs because we would be billing for mileage at 66% per kilometer. And then as that increases over the years to account for the wear and tear on the vehicles, the cost of fuel, which is all built into that increase in mileage. And is that right, Rebecca? That's what you're saying, is we would get a better idea of the actual cost.
Well, yeah. So
And be reimbursed properly.
yes, because we're not taking into account as mileage has gone up since we set these rates,
Yes.
only the cost of living increase, or the CPI or whatever, consumer price index is the only thing that we're increasing. So I don't know how this was formed and what we got paid. It might have been at 50 cents a mile or a kilometer.
Exactly.
But also for those of us, like for instance, today, not in attendance for this, I didn't incur any cost of driving, and but yet I'm still collecting, and so that's quite a few of us are not driving to the office, or we're carpooling to the office, so we're all getting paid the mileage. So I receive an extra $3,287 a year for mileage.
That's right.
And then
So-
also sometimes the meetings, like we have a couple of board meetings that come to the north. So so for instance, Celeste, who's the farthest, is only getting $245 a year for mileage when sometimes she has to drive to Pemberton. Right? So it just, to me, is more, it's fair. It's more, we need to be accountable, first of all. So we're getting paid for something we're not doing. And we need to be fair to ourselves that we're getting the current rate. So I think, in my view, option 2 might be more realistic. Celeste, you have your hand up again, or
Yeah, I did. I put it up. So we did discuss this at the last meeting, and one of the things that I said, Rebecca, is that I think it's even more likely that you're not being compensated enough for the wear and tear on your vehicle, the cost of fuel to travel to the south, all of those things. So it makes, and that was why I think we had a motion to even discuss this in the first place. It makes sense to adjust the pay and have the mileage accounted for. My apologies for the dogs in the background. And when I was looking at this, just to open up the discussion, I think that looking at the averages for the South Coast branch makes sense. Certainly none of us are doing this for the money, but having appropriate compensation for the areas that we're living in, it does help because we take time away from other parts of our lives in order to do this work. So option 5, that accounts for mileage separately, but base trustee pay, that is an average of what's paid across the South Coast branch, is something that I think we should be considering.
Okay.
Same for the chair and the vice chair. Those are difficult roles, and I've never thought that they've been compensated enough.
Yeah, I can support that as well.
May I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So
Lisa?
the fiscal responsible brain in me much prefers us to do a mileage base equality across the board. Much, I think that's far more fair, given the distance, given the online capacity. If I'm not driving somewhere and I'm able to be at home to work, you know, that's where we can tag into some cost savings if we don't all feel we need to be together in one location. So I think it's far more equitable to have us all the same. If you are using your personal property more to attend the meetings and do the things, compensated for them. I do not like option 3 for fiscal purposes for sure. And I defer to what my fiscal brain is having a bit of a hard time with it. I do like Celeste's idea for South Coast Branch averaging. These are not positions that people are jumping at to help out with. It's important work. Are there days I feel like I am making marginal difference? Maybe. But if we're going to want to attract people into these roles to do the hard work, it needs to be comparable to other areas that we associate with.
One other thing I just wanted to mention is that when we reimburse for mileage, for trustees, I've talked to some other school districts about this. We have to say that your work site is your home. For us to be able to reimburse you for mileage and not be a taxable income. So your work site would be determined to be your home because you're doing a lot of prep work at home and you're doing meetings and stuff at home. So that's a determination of whether or not it's taxable benefit, because like for Chris, he's driving to work every day, but we're not paying him to drive to work, right? So we're not paying for his mileage every single day from Vancouver to Squamish. And so that's why we're saying that your work site would be your house.
Yet we are claiming other mileage when we go over and above the board meeting day.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
has that been made taxable then?
No, because that's not, before we were saying your work site was a board office. And when you're going to other events, it's not at the board office.
Well, some of them are. If we have extra training days, I'm just saying that we've put in some of those in the past. But that being said, I already claimed my home in the last couple of years, my home as my work site, because I'd say probably majority of the work is done here, other than the board meeting days. Celeste?
I would agree that it would be correct to designate our work sites as being our home, because the vast majority of the preparation and all of the vast majority of the work that we're doing outside of the meetings is at home.
If you're ready to do a motion, you can.
No, I wasn't. I just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's up to you. If you feel like you have enough information to make a decision, you can go ahead and make a motion. I'm thinking it might be easier to do a motion, 3 different motions, maybe one for the trustee pay and then separate for chair and vice chair.
And this will be effective.
It'll be January 1st.
Yeah.
It was number.
Celeste, you have your hand up again?
Yep, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Archie might have one drafted for you.
Within the agenda?
Well, we can see.
I think we need Celeste to say it. First.
Yeah, so
I can just wing it. Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to move that we move to option 5, matching the average trustee pay rate of $17,764 across the South Coast Branch, with mileage being billed for separately as needed.
Okay.
I'll second it for you, Celeste.
Thank you, Lisa. Any discussion? All those in favor? Looks like opposed. Cynthia, you're not voting?
Oh,
I'm frozen.
she's frozen. She's opposed though. She put her hand up.
Oh, there, now. So that's why I asked opposed, because I didn't see your hand.
All right, no, the screen was
Boy, are you
frozen.
ever frozen? Oh, there you go.
All right, so that is carried. So, and I echo what Celeste said. Danielle, thank you so much for the work on this. And
Yeah.
then we had a couple of other, so the board chair and vice chair pay options with budget impacts of each option. So is there any?
I'm prepared to make a motion on that as well.
Okay,
Okay, so I'd like to move that the chair supplemental pay be changed to the average supplemental pay for the chair across the South Coast branch at the 2024 rate of $4,394.
Do we want to add in CPI in there too for those?
Yeah, plus the annual CPI adjustments.
Okay.
Does that
We're
capture it,
pretty-
Daniel?
Pretty close on, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, from
It's
the average.
not, I don't even think that this is enough, but I feel like the justification of the South Coast, you know, using the average of the South Coast branch.
I
is
think
logical.
that's fair, yeah.
Mhm.
I'll second it for you, Celeste.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Is this enough? Like, it's a lot of work. So is what's proposed even
Well,
enough?
You know, just based on my experience, it is a lot of work. But I wouldn't want to go over what the averages are and start to, be one of those districts where we're just writing our own paychecks and stuff. So
Okay.
it's a commitment that for myself that I made to the job and whatnot, and I'm satisfied. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay. It's everyone, and that's carried. And now the vice chair.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make that motion if that's all right.
Yep.
So I'm going to move that the vice chair supplemental pay for 2024 be changed to the average supplemental pay for the vice chair for the South Coast branch at the 2024 rate of $1,688 with annual CPI adjustments.
Okay, thank you, Celeste. Is there a second for that? Thank you, April. Any discussion?
I'm actually happy as the vice chair. I just to put in my 2 cents, I'm happy to have it changed actually just to similar sized districts.
If I may, Rebecca, I think that this is not about a person, this is about the position. And these are intense positions. So we need to be thinking about the position and not the person.
Yeah, I agree. And if we're going to continue to use South Coast averages, then I think we should do it throughout all.
There's truth to that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Okay.
Okay, and that's everyone. So that is carried. So thank you guys for the work, and thank you, Danielle. And I guess that is it for that item.
Thank you.
I loved how that was laid out. Thank you, Danielle.
Thanks. I had help. Alana helped me, and I had a couple of sets of eyes on there. So thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to the BCSTA Trustee Academy debrief. Who would like to kick this off?
I'm happy to start off. I'll make just a couple comments and then other people can fill in because I could probably talk about the whole thing and say everything that everyone wanted to say, but I will not because it's not very fair. I think this was one of the best academies that I've been to. I feel like they keep getting better and better. What resonated with me the most from this particular academy was there was a lot of sessions that touched upon things and topics like student voice and provincial bargaining, the recent implementation of the new amendments to the School Act, things like inclusion, empowerment, justice, equity, all those sorts of things. They really helped me to form opinions and thoughts that are really going to play as we redo our strategic plan. It just made me feel like rather than making decisions about where we go with our strategic plan on how I feel, I really felt that the academy gave me information to base my opinions on and that I could really be forming opinions and passing motions that are going to come up with our strategic plan based on really great evidence that was presented at this academy. Like people who are leaders in their area of thought and expertise have given us this information. And so I feel like I can make really sound decisions having improved my own knowledge base from what I learned at academy. So that was my biggest takeaway from the overall event. Each day provided some really good learning for me. And I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Cynthia. Melissa?
Yeah, everything that Cynthia said, I really, I agree that it was really well done. I loved the layout this year, how we were broken up, but we each went to the same thing. So you didn't feel like you were missing anything, or things weren't overpacked and you were told, sorry, you can't come into this one. And you really miss out on something that might be really important. And we did discuss about it there. It kind of took away from a little bit of mingling with the other trustees, though. There's some trustees that I knew were there, but didn't see them until we were leaving. So that was a bit tricky, but I understand the amount of work that went into laying it out the way that it was. I really enjoyed the student voice. The HelpX was really interesting. It was all really well done, and I really loved the opportunity to go. So thank you.
Thanks, Melissa.
My turn. Okay, I have the added experience this year of being the PLC person for the South Coast, which meant that I got the nice little scarf and got to participate pretty in each session in a introductory capacity and a thank you and all those things. It was kind of fun. It was a good. I haven't done that for a while. So when I introduced one of our people as Connor McDavid, everybody saw how green, how rusty I was at that piece of the job. But anyway, we got through it. I super enjoyed it. I would definitely echo what Cynthia and Melissa were saying about the importance of being involved in these sessions, these learning sessions, because there's no substitute, I don't think, when you are creating a progressive strategic plan to have this learning so that you understand where these ideas for these kinds of strategic plans come from. Am I too loud? Oh my gosh. Better?
Oh, it's quite
My
muffled.
voice is my voice is really crazy today too, because I've got, I don't know, something. Anyway, so the event for me was all of that, and plus the whole opportunity. I got to meet a whole bunch of new people, new PLC people, which was super fun. I had lots of conversations there, but the ability to for us as a board to socialize and bond and have a meal together and go to the fashion show that Rebecca organized for all of us. It's just one of those things that makes me very sad that not all of our trustees are in attendance for all of those reasons. Also, did I say that this was our biggest academy? This was over 500 people. And I think for the reason that Cynthia is saying is because they just keep getting more on point. So things are offered that trustees really need to know and have the knowledge of as we're all moving forward in this province to rewrite or to write for the first time some really progressive ed plans.
Yeah. If I can just jump in, I feel like,
Yeah,
not to interrupt you, but I feel like they're starting to really hit that sweet spot
Yeah.
between teaching us how to be good governors and providing that underlying pedagogy.
Right.
It's been a nice combination of both.
and I have the opportunity of working really closely with Gordon Lee, who runs those events. He's the staff person who runs them. And he said that those are the questions that he puts to the presenters. Yes, give the content, but then make sure that you tie it back to why this information is important for governing, not just for the teaching side, but it certainly does give all of the research and all of the best practice that gives us the understanding when we move forward to write a strategic plan. So, thank you.
And then I'll
Sorry
chime
for my
in.
voice.
Yes, please, Lisa.
So, I didn't love it. I will talk to the other side. I got quite a lot out of the speakers that were there on the second day with our light bulbs traveling around. However, I felt horribly excluded. I felt that I wasn't engaged and felt quite alone. So the ability to not be well enough to go to the fashion show, the meals, I didn't enjoy it. And as a trustee, I felt I could have better served my time and my community and the students if we hadn't paid for me to go. And I will definitely think twice about going to one again. I feel the AGM is probably more important when we're passing motions and such, but I think I really did not enjoy it and felt very excluded. So while I gained some valuable information, I do not think I need to participate again. And it was not a value add for me as a trustee.
I'm sorry to hear that, Lisa, that you felt excluded. For myself, I
know you guys all did a great job trying to include me. I've bought myself a new table now, like all the things, but when we're talking about inclusion for students, and yeah, I didn't love it. Our South Coast branch meeting I did love, and I've taken away a couple of pieces. So I've got some work to do with Chris on one of the motions that we'll be putting forward, and the minutes are with Stacia and have been completed. So yeah, but it for value add, I don't think it served me as well as it did the rest of you, which is great. You guys do it and you bring back the pieces. So that's great.
Okay, April, you had your hand up.
I'm sorry to hear that too, Lisa. I super loved having you at the back of the room in any session that I was introducing. You were super helpful. Also, I just would like to ask you what could be done to make you feel more included?
Maybe not putting the disability chick in the lobby, in the hallway.
I totally
Maybe.
agree. I'm just jumping in.
Yeah.
I noted that as well. I think we can do better with inclusion here, and it surprised me that you weren't seated with us in an appropriate way or given options. So I concur. But that was not good. The small sessions worked, but the big ones, no. So thank you for bringing that up, and
Yeah.
I would just suggest
April, I see your hand,
bring
but
that forward to the BCSD.
Celeste is
Thank you.
ahead of you.
Okay.
Thanks. Celeste?
Yeah, we've discussed this before, and I just want to reiterate that there's many ways to learn and engage. The online material available through BCSTA is very good. And there are some times where we simply cannot attend. So just to say it again, there are different ways to learn and engage for everybody, and the material is available to us through other means than attending in person.
Okay, April, you had something?
On the table. Okay, all right. Sorry. So as a member of the PLC, Lisa, I can definitely bring that to Gordon Lee and make those changes. Was there anything else? Like, I'd love it for you to be able to continue to come. I enjoy personally having, you there with all of us.
I feel like we should have like a setup for her right beside our table.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
tried.
I mean, that, but is there anything else? I'm definitely gonna deal with the table situation because I thought I saw it too.
Well, she needs to be beside a wall. Anyways.
I need it anyway. It is what it is, but I don't like, for me, I'm quite happy not to be at that one, and you guys for fiscal whatever, I'm quite happy not to be at that one and plan for me not to be, but for the one where we're passing motions and such, I'm totally there. We can Skype me into the South or Zoom me into the South Coast branch meetings, take the minutes, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not worth my body fatigue for what was retained out of it. So yeah.
Can I just say, Lisa, I hear what you're saying, and I just want you to know that in the future at events, we want to do everything possible to make you comfortable because it is important to us that you are there.
Yeah.
But not at the expense of you being in pain. But
Yeah.
please, like,
Thanks, Melissa.
we want you there. Yeah.
Well, no, if I'm not there, I'm happy not to be. So it's
I think one year they had us seated, maybe it was at a AGM or something, us seated
yeah,
beside.
I went to the AGM because the tables ran lengthways and it was great because I was able to stand across the back wall, but one human changing the whole dynamic of a room, it's not worth it for what
Well, no,
you
you're
get at
not,
home. So it's
But
but you're not
other.
alone. There's many others who
Yeah.
are in.
Anywho, I just
chairs and-
yeah, so there's a raw opinion of, there you go, for those that those that
Thank
are
you.
watching
Thank
in the
you for
public.
sharing.
Inclusion is very important, and to include a better mental health, I will be not partaking. I'll go to the AGMs, and yeah. So
Thank you for that. So I'll just add in a couple of things. Because I actually found this to be one of the better academies. And I learned a lot at the School Act changes for the Indigenous. Those pieces learned quite a bit there. Enjoyed most of the sessions. I think the student voice one was the only one that I didn't really get much out of. And such. So that one left. And then the other piece is the same, where I didn't get to see, like, we just stuck with our light bulbs, our group, and moved along. So those are the only individuals I really saw. And there were some others that I had in past would connect with, and it was like the last day, and I'm seeing them. So that's the only piece, but overall, I think the format was great. As for the fashion show, I was supposed to be going with my two friends who ended up not making it, but I'm so happy that the rest of you decided to join, and I was just blown away. It's far surpassed my expectations, and it was wonderful to share that with all of you who attended. And I think I'll just leave it there. Cynthia?
Just sort of aside, I noticed on I think it was on the field trip list, you won't see that on the agenda until the open board meeting, but I think I noticed that there was students who came from Pemberton Secondary, and they also attended the Indigenous Fashion Week. And I'm just wondering if anyone heard any follow-up from the students. If you haven't, that's fine. It's not part of our business, but I was just curious if anyone heard anything from them.
Well, I ran into a couple at the show, and it wasn't organized by Pemberton Secondary. They just happened to be Pemberton Secondary students.
Ah, okay, sorry.
Couple of them, and
Okay.
there were quite a few Indigenous students from Lilwat, and it was organized. Well, Chris, we met Clint, who was the organizer, Clint Andrew, and stuff. So they just happened to be Pemberton students.
Ah, okay, okay, sorry, a little confusion there. But I'm glad there was lots of kids there too. It really was a fantastic event, really
Very
incredible.
well done.
And I'm glad students got to see it too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anything else? Okay. And then we can move on to the Village of Pemberton meeting invitation. There's a copy there. Now, I think they're looking to meet with all of us.
That's up to them.
Just to give you some background information, Archie and I were trying to find if there's any information on any of their meeting minutes to see if there was anything in particular that maybe they discussed they wanted to talk to us about. But when Archie reached out to them, I guess they had an in-camera meeting, so none of it is available for us to see what they wanted to talk to us about.
Oh,
Would we be meeting with them in camera or?
I'm not sure. Did they? I can't remember if it says that in the letter, but also I think they meet on Tuesdays. That's their council meeting days.
now they meet on what, Tuesdays or something?
Yeah, I think it's Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Rebecca?
Yeah, yep, go ahead.
Do they meet into the evening? Like, could we zoom in after 4 o'clock kind of thing to meet with them, or do we all have to roll in there?
I think they're meeting, their public meetings at 7 p.m. We're just gonna go check it though.
We could attend in person after work kind of thing then. Is that what they're expecting?
We have no idea.
Oh, okay.
So we're trying to figure out if they want to meet us in camera, it's during the day, if they want us to come to the public meeting in the evening. And I don't know if we just want our maybe our local trustees
So
attend.
we need more information.
Sorry, it's at 5:30 apparently. So I mean, you guys can you may want to respond back with some stipulations of your own. Like if you want it to be in camera or whatever.
Rebecca, if I may, I think it's great for us to meet if we can just sort out the logistics of doing it. And I think if we can make it work for all of us, super great to connect with those people. And if not, then having the local people is a reasonable alternative.
Yeah, well, they did say trustees and the superintendent in their letter, so, or in their motion. So they're requesting, and I agree. I think there's value in having conversations. I attended one of their meetings last year. And I couldn't comment. I wasn't able to speak. I was just an observer. And there were some comments, inaccurate statements made about the district and housing. So I would appreciate the opportunity to clarify some of those things.
So maybe we reply that we're interested in having a meeting with them, and do we request that it's an in-camera meeting to begin with, because we don't know what they want to talk about, and maybe it's issues that are appropriate to be in camera. Certainly doesn't hurt to meet.
No, not at all.
Rebecca,
Yeah,
may I?
go ahead, Celeste.
Chris, do you have a relationship with the CAO at all? Can you just pick up the phone and kind of have a conversation before we send a formal response?
I mean, I think enough. Yeah, if it's staff to staff, but this is from the politician. So my recommendation is again, before we determine whether it's in person in the evening or in camera, I think we need to know what's on the board would need to know what's on the is on the agenda. I have a sneaking suspicion. This is where I'm a little bit concerned when they take concerns that they, again, maybe asking what is the board doing about teacher accommodation, because there's or housing, because there's that belief, widespread belief in community that there's no housing, which I understand actually isn't the case. So I would again just be curious what do they want on the agenda, and I certainly wouldn't want any of the trustees to be caught so we're flat-footed by any questions that might not be appropriate in a public meeting. So I would just ask for the agenda. I think that's fine for the board chair to respond, and that's what I would suggest is, happy to meet, looking forward to establishing, close relationships. What might an agenda look like, and then the board can determine whether they'd like some items moved to in camera, if at all. That's my suggestion.
And I think that sounds fair. Celeste, your hands up?
Yeah, totally. I think that sounds fair. The only follow-up would be Rebecca, would Rebecca reaching out to the mayor and just having a conversation to get a little bit more information, just so we have a better understanding. That's it, similar to you and the CAO connecting. And then for sure, a nice letter saying we're open to talking, but just, do you know Mike at all, Rebecca?
Yeah, I do. I have his phone number. I can text him.
Yeah, just
Call him.
sometimes having those conversations in advance can soften everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll reach out to them and follow up and schedule a time. Likewise, it would be good to meet with the regional district and Whistler and the district of Squamish. Okay, anything else? Okay, well then we have some work to do there. So next up we have motions for the February 22nd BCSDA Provincial Council, and Danielle's up.
Yeah, so the deadline for submission for the Provincial Council for BCSDA is January 20th. So these motions are for emergent items only, and they refer to the business, or refer to if there's something that can't wait till the annual general meeting. This is where you would have the ability to have an emergent item raised with BCSDA. So you can, if anybody has any motions or interested in putting forward, you can do that now or wait till the January board meeting. No time to think about it.
Yeah, not seeing anything hands going up, so I guess we'll revisit this in January. Okay, I don't see any action items. Do we have any questions of clarification from the public?
Let's see. Nope, nothing.
Okay. So I think we've concluded the business of this agenda and we are now adjourned. But just one sec. So Archie, can you turn off the live?